Okay, what was that Nintendo Direct? We actually have to talk about all the implications to the 2024 games lineup, and surprisingly, a lot of the 2025 games lineup for Nintendo Switch that has now been outlined for us. I think we saw a cross-gen game at the end of this show, and there was a lot here to unpack, so we won't waste any time. Make sure you like, subscribe, turn on your bell notification if you're new here to join Sunbro Nation. But right out of the gate, this Direct opened up with Mario and Luigi just coming back with a brand new game, Mario and Luigi Brothership. Brand new from the ground up game, looks cell shaded style. It's like if you put Mario and Luigi and Wind Waker together in a way. Really cool vibes to this game. And also, as somebody who hasn't really gotten into the Mario and Luigi franchise so much, it's crazy to see Nintendo just dive headfirst into their Mario RPG game so hardcore, like Super Mario RPG Remake. Then we get Paper Mario Thousand Year Door Remake, and now we're getting a brand new Mario and Luigi game. Like, what even is life? So that was an exciting, surprising way to open up the show. We quickly then got a look at Nintendo World Championship NES Edition. Nothing too exciting there. It's more of kind of just a review trailer of what to expect. That game's out next month. Fairy Tail 2 is coming out. I'm not really too much of a fan of the anime, so didn't do a whole lot for me. Fantasian Neo Dimension is coming out on Nintendo Switch Holiday 2024. I believe this is the Apple Arcade exclusive game that was rumored for a while that one would be coming to Nintendo Switch. It looks like it is that one. Mio Memories in Orbit. This gives me 2D Metroidvania type of vibes, really unique art aesthetic. Like, it definitely has I would say like a good presentation style to it, and the character looks cool enough. Like, definitely one to keep my eye on, but to my surprise, a 2025 game. And by the way, the amount of 2025 titles we saw here was surprising, and I think that has some implications on what's going on, which we will tackle after we kind of round off these announcements. Hello Kitty Island Adventure. This reminds me of just basically Animal Crossing, but with Hello Kitty characters. I mean, it does look different than Animal Crossing, to be fair. There's platforming sections and some, minecart rides and different stuff, but it very much kind of gives me those type of warm, cozy game type of vibes. Not anything that I'm necessarily too interested in. And then we did have Looney Tunes Wacky World of Sports, which this looks like a pretty cool, just fun, lighthearted sports game, but with Looney Tune characters. Nothing to really write home about, but not too bad. Among Us did get its free update that was actually technically leaked to the date of the Direct, even though there was some debate on whether or not it was tied to a Direct. Well, sure enough, it was. It was at this presentation, and that was the first indication we had that the 18th was indeed the date. Farmagia is a November 1st, 2024 game, farming simulator, RPG style stuff. We have a ton of those, but this one looks interesting enough for fans of that genre of game. Oh my freaking gosh, we have Donkey Kong in this Direct. As soon as I saw the opening animation, I was well aware that it was Donkey Kong Returns from the Wii, because I've been talking about something Donkey Kong, hopefully coming to Nintendo Switch sometime soon. And while I personally was more expecting like either a new 2D Donkey Kong or maybe even like a trilogy, Donkey Kong Country Trilogy remastered, this one on face value just makes all the sense in the world. It's a great Donkey Kong 2D platformer that's stuck on the Wii with not the best controls, and now you're going to get the entire thing in one package on Nintendo Switch, and they are adding in 3DS levels that were essentially exclusive to that version. And to my surprise, this game doesn't come out until January next year, which is surprising because I feel like this should definitely be a 2024 game. I don't imagine that this takes that long to remaster. Now, the visual quality of it is not up to Tropical Freeze, in my opinion. It definitely looks like the Wii counterpart, but with a nice little HD upres, but that is fine for me. We have DK back, essentially with a new port since the first time since 2018. Still don't have any brand new from the ground up game, but nonetheless, Nintendo not just totally forgetting about DK and bringing over an excellent 2D platformer to a modern platform with the Nintendo Switch that, to be fair, is on its way out, and we're going to talk about more implications of that as well. But this was a hype announcement for me, if you can't tell. I cannot wait to play Donkey Kong. I'm just surprised it's a January game next year, so we do have to wait a little bit longer for this one. Dragon Quest III HD Remake was indeed at the showcase, like Midori did reveal to us, and so there was some information and kind of conflicting about if this was 1 through 3 or if it's just 3. It seemed like it was just 3, and then at the tail end of it, they announced for 2025 you will get 1 and 2 remake together. However, Dragon Quest III HD 2D will be out November 14th this year. And then there was like a brief moment where the series producer or whoever was basically saying it might make sense to play them in that order. So you play 3, then 1, then 2. I'm not familiar with the story implications of Dragon Quest, but these are beautiful HD 2D remakes. So definitely for fans of the franchise, I'm sure you will be looking forward to those. Funko Pop is making so much money that they decided to make a game. So this is coming to Nintendo Switch, I believe, as a timed exclusive, and it is out September 13th. 15th of this year. Not really too interesting of a game to me, but it had some decent mechanics from the overview trailer. The new Denpa Man, which I don't know what to say about this game entirely. It reminded me of like a Wii game back in the day, almost looked like me type characters that were on screen. Metal Slug Attack Reloaded. This looks cool for Metal Slug fans. I mean, nothing too surprising or different than what you'd expect from the franchise, but that's available now. That was a shadow drop announcement, so definitely a hype one. Nintendo Switch Online has a amazing shadow drop update. I mean, you can play these later today. I don't know when they're going live, but at some point today they will be. The N64 app here in North America is indeed getting a 17 plus rated app, bringing over all of the more dicey, mature games to the US region, which was huge. I definitely think this blows open the door for Conker's Bad Fur Day and any other M-rated N64 games you can think of. But as of today, we are getting a Link to the Past Four Swords Game Boy Advance Edition, which of course, we have a Link to the Past playable already through SNES, but the Four Swords is a very fun, enjoyable, kind of smaller version of what Four Swords Adventures is on the GameCube, so definitely check that out if you haven't already. Metroid Zero Mission is definitively the best version of Metroid 1 and an excellent way to experience that timeless classic. I highly recommend any Metroidvania fan out there, period, if you're a fan of that style of game, to go through that. Also shadow dropped into the expansion pack, Perfect Dark from Rare, coming over, online multiplayer and all, M-rated game that you love to see show up. That was a huge deal. The fact that that's just here and looking great, better than ever on NSO. And Turok, which is a great throwback game as well from Acclaim. I have not played this one back in the day on the N64, but I know it has a huge following behind it, and I'm just really excited to see some NSO love show up. We did not get an updated roadmap of games, but rather just a shadow drop announcement, further leading into that idea that Nintendo's kind of likely just treating NSO more as a surprise announcement platform now, and we're not going to get like that 6-month roadmap or year-long roadmap like we have seen them do in the past when N64 and Game Boy Advance first launched. So good stuff for NSO at this presentation. Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Arcade Collection. This is a lot of classic content for fighting game fans on there. If you're like 1v1 fighting game fan, like, you're going to want to pick this up more than likely. It had a ton of stuff that breezed by on screen. I didn't even catch every single game that was in there, and we got a 2024 announcement. I don't know if we got an exact release date. Phantom Brave: The Lost Hero, a strategy looking RPG that I don't have a whole lot to say about. It's a 2025 game. Again, the amount of 2025 games that were here were surprising to me. We're getting a new Mario Party, Super Mario Party Jamboree, the kind of the code name, most likely this was codename Banquet that we talked about. It literally has the Super Mario Party title. The code name for Super Mario Party, of course, was Buffet. So this was that rumored game. It's out October, just like we talked about. It would likely be happening. Now, it does look like, yes, indeed, Mario Party 1 and 2 are also part of this from like certain stages. And I don't know if they said mini games or not would be supported from Mario Party 1 and 2, but for the most part, this is just a brand new Mario Party game with like a up to 20 player online mode. That's a new thing. Looks like a mini game mashup where you're just kind of trying to win out against all the other players. They had some where a bunch of characters were on screen all at the same time. Like, this looks great. It is going to be more focused on motion controls from what I can tell, more in line with Super Mario Party, which, to be honest, I'm totally more of a fan of the more traditional button style controls from Mario Party Superstars. But nonetheless, I was ready for new Mario Party content, and we are getting that October 17th this year. Holy Legend of Zelda, we actually have something to talk about, and no, it's not Wind Waker or Twilight Princess, but it actually is something brand new in the 2D Legend of Zelda franchise. Yes, those rumors that we were talking about here on the channel about there being a new 2D Zelda game where Zelda is the playable character were indeed true. I will give Papagino's credit for it, but also he was very misleading back and forth, because whenever he put out the rumor, it seemed like he had inside knowledge. He then made a YouTube video that sounded like it was just his speculation because it's time for a new 2D Zelda and he would love to see Zelda as a playable character. But no, this is actually what's going on. Zelda is a playable character. This looks beautiful. It's absolutely in the style of Link's Awakening, like literally the exact same character sprites. But Zelda has this tri-wand where, if you could imagine kind of like the Tears of the Kingdom building mechanics, but you're able to take things and turn them into an item that's in your inventory. They called it a specific thing. I'm blanking on it right now, but essentially you get these different abilities with this wand that you can basically even take over enemies and add them into your arsenal, and then they they fight on your behalf. Kind of reminded me of like Phantom Hourglass for a minute there. This looks like a giant scope of a game. Link is gone. You're literally playing as Zelda the entire time. It's interesting to see her like not just have a traditional sword. It's not just, you know, Zelda with sword play. Like, it really seems like they're trying to do something creative and unique in this game. Very cool setting, very cool world. We have like traditional A Link to the Past style Ganondorf in the background. Like, I cannot wait to see the story unfold and all of the different gameplay mechanics. This sounds like something very ambitious and different from the 2D Zelda team. They wanted to create that brand new type of gameplay experience, and they're doing it here. And I personally can't be more excited just to see the continuation of 2D Zelda games alongside of, obviously, they're working on the next big major 3D Zelda, but in the meantime, we have some 2D from the ground up titles to look forward to with some really unique, crazy gameplay mechanics. We will have to do a separate deep dive video on this game alone as I get time to research it more, because yeah, this is a big deal. Cannot wait for it to come out. It is out this year, September 26th, 2024. Absolutely pre-ordering this thing, and unfortunately Nintendo's going to get some additional money out of me, because while I have no use for a Nintendo Switch Lite at the moment, that Legend of Zelda Special Edition, Hyrule Edition that they're calling it, Switch Lite, will indeed get the $200 out of me. So that's a huge win for Zelda fans. Again, I don't think we're talking about Wind Waker Twilight Princess now until maybe legitimately the next Switch, if they come over at all. Like, this would have been the perfect window of time to do it, and it sounds like 2D Zelda is what we're getting, but I am fine with that. I am fine with a new Zelda game, something in 2024, and that's one of the more recent games that was here, surprisingly, so we don't have to wait too much longer to get it. Lego Horizon is indeed coming to Nintendo Switch, as we knew, and we got a more detailed trailer, probably of like the Switch visuals and stuff, so you can research that on your own time. It looked interesting enough, but I'm not the biggest Lego fan out there. Stray is getting a Nintendo Switch release. This was out on the other platforms and it's getting ported to the Switch. Definitely looks visually more simple, but as you would expect it to. Tales of Shire's out holiday 2024. Another like farming sim cozy type of game. Just Dance 2025 showed up as you'd expect a Just Dance game to do. The 100 line Last Defense Academy, not too much to say about this one. Very narrative driven from the looks of things. It's out early 2025. Ace Attorney Investigations Collection. This is a classic collection of some of the Ace Attorney games. I did not play these back in their original release, but I know some people will be very happy to see this returning to the Nintendo Switch, or going to the Switch from the first time from their old classic versions. Romancing Saga 2 Revenge of the Seventh was here. This is a really cool turn-based RPG. Has good, nice like 3D world visuals, and it is published by Square Enix. It is out October 24th. And the big show closer, yeah, it actually happened. We saw Metroid Prime 4 for the first time. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, and I personally believe that we saw a Nintendo Switch 2 game, but not the Switch 2 version of this game running. Now, hear me out here. This looks incredible. Some people were commenting about the visuals not looking that. It literally is a 7-year-old system plus that they're developing this thing for. It's gonna come out on the current Nintendo Switch. It's a 2025 game. That has been confirmed, but I do have this theory that this will likely be a cross-gen launch for the next-gen hardware, and we will likely see a more enhanced version of it show up on said hardware. I think it will look largely the same from a texture perspective, but I think things like a higher resolution and ray tracing will likely be enabled. Those type of features just to kind of streamline things. The amount of chaos that was going on in the background of like what's happening in the world looked way more full than what previous Prime games did. Now, you also have, of course, like your scanner intact, your morph ball, like everything you would expect. This literally looks like the next Metroid Prime game, which it's just crazy to finally actually see it. Now, I didn't see like giant open zones or anything like that. It did seem like there was a lot more stuff happening in the background, and towards the end, we did see like kind of a zoomed out camera look, but as far as some of those claims, like almost claiming that this is like an open world, maybe that final 2025 shot was revealing like that's all traversal area, and that's very possible, but for most of the more up close gameplay, it definitely was more closed in, similar to what we saw in previous Prime games. But this is the continuation of Prime 4 Beyond. I can't believe they gave it a title. They gave it a release year, not a date, of course. And then I do think that this has some interesting implications because Prime 2 and 3 were not here. So we saw a 2025 game. We don't know if we're going to get Prime 2 or 3 at all, if those are even coming over. There is a world where Nintendo could hold another Direct next year in February, and we find out that this is like a holiday 2024 title, and they give us at a February Direct the shadow drop of 2 and 3. That's very much on the table, but I was surprised that there was no mention of 2 and 3 when we saw Prime 4 beyond officially showcased to us. Like, but the visor looks awesome, Samus looks awesome, this world looks awesome. I cannot be more excited that they closed out a Nintendo Direct with a look at Prime 4. Even though it's 2025, it's not the holiday 2024 game. But if you can't tell from my excitement, this was a banger Direct for me personally. There was a lot here, a lot I love to see. Mario and Luigi opening up the show, Donkey Kong Country Returns HD, all the NSO announcements, then closing it out with Prime 4 and getting a new 2D Zelda in the middle that looks incredible with new mechanics. Like, this was definitely a winner of a show, but I also want to quickly tackle the conversation of the broader implications of what this means for the rest of this year and going into next year, because this Direct to me all but confirmed that we should not be expecting a September Nintendo Direct to take place. The amount of late 2024 games and 2025 games we saw featured at this event have me fully convinced that Nintendo is saving the fall for the Switch successor reveal. I do indeed think that we are going to get maybe not a blowout event, but at the very least a first look and some additional information about the system, and they want the marketing to very much be focused on that. That may be where we learn about the new 3D Mario game. It may not be, but I think that by the time we're talking about the February Direct next year, we will have a ton of Switch 2 stuff to look forward to, and that's likely when we will see a huge update of Switch 2 games. If it launches in March though, maybe they do hold a fall Direct after the system is revealed to promote some of that stuff, but again, all the partner games and even Nintendo's own first party stuff that was actually 2025 at this event, it really does make me think that Nintendo's just clearing out the fall entirely to focus on Switch 2 stuff. So let me know in the comments down below what you make of all of this. Do you think that this was a great Direct? Did you like all of the announcements and various different ones we walked away learning about? Did you feel like it was lackluster? Was there stuff that was missing there? I know I was obviously missing Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. Other than that, I was extremely happy with everything, and we saw Metroid Prime 4 Beyond for the first time. Very exciting stuff for me, but share all your thoughts and feelings in the comments down below before you leave, regardless if we agree or disagree. Also, make sure you like, subscribe, turn on your notification bell, and I will see you guys in the next video.